Hello guys, how are we doing? This is Andrew Harris with your Raw review for May 7, 2012. Alrighty guys, we started off Raw with John Laurinaitis. John Laurinaitis coming out to the ring and basically explaining his actions for last week with his attack on John Cena. Now basically he said he's not apologizing for it and he's tired of being pushed around and no one's going to overstep his authority because he's now manager of both Raw and SmackDown. Now, firstly, I have to say to this is, that dude's voice is annoying as hell. I'm sorry. I didn't watch wrestling back in the 80s and 90s or whenever this guy actually wrestled, but had I watched him then and now, I probably wouldn't have even liked him then, to be honest. But basically he went through his wrestling history and basically said how he's going to beat John Cena at Over the Limit, and then he gets interrupted by none other than the Second City Saint, CM Punk. Now of course, when CM Punk and John Laurinaitis are in the same ring, it's going to be funny as hell. And of course it delivered. Basically, CM Punk came out, laid a pipe bomb on how his wrestling was a joke, he's a joke, a giant toolbox, and we still don't like him, which is partly true. I don't like him. That's my opinion. Alright. Then basically John Laurinaitis gets pissed off again and makes CM Punk versus Lord Tensai for the main event for Monday Night Raw tonight. Now, do I really agree with him putting in a match with Lord Tensai and CM Punk? We'll get to that. Alrighty, next we have a John Laurinaitis Big Show and Eve segment with John Laurinaitis backstage bumping into Big Show and saying, shit, excuse me. Shouldn't you be watching where you're going? Your boss is just walking around and you're not paying attention. And Big Show responds by making fun of him. And then of course Eve walks up, being the corporate bitch that she is now. But we'll get to that here in a second. Which basically sets up Big Show versus Cody Rhodes for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, for the first match of the night, I was pretty disappointed. Number one, it wasn't really a match, it was just I'm guessing a diversion for Eve to come out, which I'll get to in a second. But basically, Cody Rhodes took the coward way out, and Big Show got the victory via countout. And then, like I said, Eve comes out and makes Big Show apologize for making fun of John Laurinaitis' voice. Now, in my opinion, Big Show just got punked by a girl. But I know this is staged, I know this is scripted, but me personally, I wouldn't have said crap. I would have walked my ass out of that ring. I would have did it in private, like the classman that I am, and I would have did it backstage. Because I'll be damned if a woman embarrasses me in front of thousands and thousands of the WWE audience members. Alrighty. Next we had Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler, and what I thought was a pretty impressive match. I put it number 2 as matches of the night. My number 1 match I'll get to later. But this match overall was by far the second best match of the night. You had Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler, both rising stars in WWE, and both wanting to, I shouldn't say being main eventers because I don't think they're quite there, but being main eventers as mid-card wrestlers, if that makes any sense at all. But if anyone is going to get to the main event card first, it's going to be Dolph Ziggler. This guy has the talent, the charisma, the athleticism, and he's just the whole package. Now, Dolph Ziggler, will we see a Dolph Ziggler push? Me personally, I hope we do. Because, like I said, this guy is the total package. Okay, next we had a Michael Cole exclusive in which he interviewed John Cena via satellite. Sound familiar? It should. But basically, he talks about Over the Limit and how Michael Cole watched tapes of John Laurinaitis back when he was in Japan and how he was this big wrestler in Japan. And I'm not going to say anything because I don't know too much about Japan wrestling, and I don't know much about wrestling back in the day. But I'll move on. Basically, Cena said that his doctors doesn't want him to compete. He shouldn't compete, but he's going through with the match at Over the Limit, and basically he's just going to whoop John Laurinaitis' ass. Now, I've already said my thoughts on this match in my topic video last week, so I'm moving on. We had a Divas match. Kelly and Layla versus Maxine and Natalya with Beth Phoenix on commentary. Now, before the match, it was announced that Beth Phoenix would take on Layla at Over the Limit for the Divas Championship. Now, tomorrow, I will be going, I shouldn't say in depth, but my topic video will be Beth Phoenix versus Layla at Over the Limit and the Divas division in WWE today. That'll be my topic video tomorrow. Look out for that on my YouTube channel. I'll put the link down below. But basically, this was just a filler match. Because you have Layla get the win on Maxine on a move that any diva probably could have kicked out of. But I can see how they want to make Layla look strong going into her match in 2 weeks at Over the Limit versus Beth Phoenix. So I can't really blame WWE for doing that, but if they're going to make Maxine come up from NXT, they should have at least made the match a little longer than they should have. That's just my opinion. Alright, next we had, in what I thought was the main event of the evening, Sheamus and Randy Orton versus Alberto Del Rio and Chris Jericho. Now, both of these had Over the Limit implications. Actually, did it? No, it did. No, did it? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, this match was, in my opinion, the main event of the evening. Why? Because, like I said, it had, well, it does have Over the Limit implications. Sheamus and Chris, or Del Rio. Blah blah. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, guys. Okay, one of these matches had Over the Limit implications, and as we learn later, it will be a fatal four-way at Over the Limit. It'll be Randy Orton, Sheamus, Del Rio, and Jericho. So, I guess it did have Over the Limit implications, which I was going to get to later. But I guess I'm not now. Alright. Del Rio and Jericho did get the win on Sheamus and Randy Orton, because Sheamus kicked Randy Orton. And then Chris Jericho got the pin. Chris Jericho finally got the pin on someone. Hallelujah. People all over the WWE are praising. Oh my God, Chris Jericho kind of, sort of, finally won a match. Oh my God. Let's stop everything, guys. Chris Jericho finally won a match. Oh my God. Alrighty. Alrighty, next we had Randy Orton, Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, Chris Jericho, Eve, and a John Laurinaitis segment. where John Laurinaitis was talking to Eve about what happened earlier tonight with Big Show and how she's doing a good job. Then in comes Randy Orton, Alberto Del Rio, and Chris Jericho, all pleading to John Laurinaitis that they should be fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship at Over the Limit. Then fights break out, Sheamus walks in, there were more fights, and like I said, it set up a fatal 4-way at Over the Limit for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, there is something I do want to discuss. Is there going to be a possible heel turn for Randy Orton or Sheamus leading up to Over the Limit or after Over the Limit? Let me get your thoughts on that down below in the comments. Alrighty. We had Brodus versus The Miz in what I thought was the third best match of the night. Now, we all know we haven't seen much of The Miz because he's filming for the Marine Trace. That means 3 people. And basically, this was a filler match as well. Now, Brodus does pick up the win, but there's really not much I can say about this match because this match didn't really appeal to me, so I'm not going to say too much about this match. Alrighty, next we had a returning Paul Heyman. Now, I don't know if some of us seen this coming or not. From my sources, I didn't see anything come about Paul Heyman coming back to the WWE. I seen he would never come back to the WWE because he just doesn't like the WWE. But I didn't think he was going to come back. Alright. What, Lee? Alrighty. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Alright, next we had... Oh yeah, Paul Heyman returned. Basically, he is the representative of Brock Lesnar. Now, if everyone remembers, back in the day, Brock Lesnar was Brock Lesnar's representative. And basically, he came out and said that WWE wasn't keeping up their hold of the deal in the contract that they negotiated with Brock Lesnar when Brock Lesnar re-signed with the WWE months ago. Now, basically, Paul Heyman said that WWE is not right for this, and Brock Lesnar is not coming back because he feels betrayed, and basically it led to Brock Lesnar quitting the WWE. Now, in my opinion, this is all just storyline. Brock Lesnar will be back next week when Triple H makes an appearance on Monday Night Raw. So, we'll see what happens with that, people. Alrighty. And finally, we come to the main event. And I didn't see this because I had to go do something. But it was announced, I believe, before the commercial break or when Raw came back. But it was made a handicap match. It was Lord Tensai and Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk in a handicap match. Now, in my opinion, this was pretty much the worst match of the night. Now, I'll probably get bashed for this. I'll probably won't be liked for this very much, but I truly just don't give a fuck. It was, in my opinion, the worst match of the night. Why? Because it was basically CM Punk getting his ass whooped because of something he said earlier in the night that was actually true. Now, CM Punk did have some maneuvers that kept him from totally getting his ass kicked, but it was basically John Laurinaitis sending a message to the WWE Universe that you shouldn't mess with John Laurinaitis. Now, in my opinion, like I said, it was the worst match of the night. I didn't really like it, but it did segue into some things, like Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk at Over the Limit for the WWE Championship, and it also segued maybe a feud maybe later down in the road, Lord Tensai versus CM Punk. Do I want to see it? Maybe not, but we'll see, guys. Alrighty, that's it for this review. I'm Andrew Harris. I love you guys, and I'll see you for my topic video tomorrow on the Divas division and Layla versus Beth Phoenix for the Divas title at Over the Limit. Bye, guys.